I'm done with it.
Dude, you've been done.
I'm still here.
For what? We'll see. Why? Because you just want to be a asshole.
You're right.
Then why the would you be in this competition, bone face?
Why do you look 50 and you're 24?
What? What did you say? Go yourself.
Would you rather have the brand new PS5 or a weekend with these three lovely ladies and you can do anything you want with them?
Wait, anything with them?
Like anything.
A whole weekend?
A whole weekend.
Damn, but the PS5 though, like it just dropped.
I know.
Ah, damn, y'all beautiful though, but
Hold on, what'd you say?
PS5 or us?
Oh,
bro, y'all beautiful, but I had a PlayStation 4 for 4 years, but I need a PS5.
God.
My nigga.
That all up in me at one time. Don't try to make me take all that dick at one time.
Slow and easy.
He said, don't worry. I wouldn't do that to you. I would not rush all this dick up in you at one time. I'm going to take it easy on you. She said, okay, I think I can take it. So he laid down. The nigga rushed all that dick up in her.
Jammed it into there.
Jammed and round.
Like Jam City.
All kind of dick up in that girl at one time.
Dang.
And took her breath some more.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. A win is a win.
Thanks for all your help. Bye-bye, Tanja. Bye-bye.
I want to do it the right way and learn some of the unwritten rules.
That's why I was talking about the seminar, so that we can get players to come down there and bring their grievance, their problem, how to catch a hooker, what you do to be a boss player, what do I say to my wife when I decided that I wanted to be a true player and walk out on the family. We need a seminar so we can teach these guys to give them the right understanding so they'll know, man.
Like you gotta, because there's some people who believe that people between the ages of 18 and 25 are like too responsible. They're not responsible enough to make those decisions.
I don't think age matters. That's how you got old motherfuckers still do the kid shit. It's just a maturity thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what you think about life.
Damn, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Nobody knows what's good for right or wrong. It's just a motherfucker still do
right. I do believe that if you are over the age of 18, you can conduct yourself as an adult, you should be held accountable as an adult. So I do believe you should be able to make own decisions like you know, with your body.
You know that? They know. You know what's going on. I think people decide to do their own shit.
No doubt. Set that up, bro. For sure.
I notice you don't have a father listed on the PSI. You did not have a father?
He's not in my life.
He resided with his father for a short period of time, but the housing condition was deplorable. He was taken from the father at the court police, subsequently placed, and then returned to the biological mother.
That's what you have needed in your life as a father. Someone to discipline you. Someone to beat the hell out of you when you made a mistake, as opposed to allowing you or encouraging you to do it to somebody else. We've all been 19 years of age at some point in time in our lives. It might be different for a young lady, but for a young man, without the guidance of a father, being 19 years of age, I can understand how some of these problems have existed in the past.
That is no excuse, Judge. That is setting a low bar. There are plenty of young black males who live in the city of Detroit, who are raised by a single mother, who do not, I repeat, do not engage in criminal activity. There are plenty of young black males who did not have a father, who live in the city of Detroit, who do not come into court and lie to a judge. There are plenty of young black males who live in the city of Detroit who do not behave the way this man behaves. And the fact that he did not have a father, the fact that he is a young black male does not give him the right to engage in criminal activity.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
That shit is crazy. I really don't like that guy. I really don't like Ja Rule.
Nigga.
Top 5 reasons as to why I don't date black men. And before you run to the comments, ask yourself, are you a dark-skinned black girl? No? Okay. Number 1, common sense. They don't like me. I'm from a small town. The population is like 6,000 people, and like 5,999 of those people are white, which wasn't...
This literally makes no sense. So what she's saying is basically race determines how a person's personality is. Have you not been to cons or other places in the world to say that black men all act a certain way, like 99.5% of black men literally act that way? That makes no sense at all. And that's a slap in the face to all black men. The fact that you're saying that they all are the reason why you don't date black men. It has nothing to do with race. It's basically personality.
Emotional damage.
Do with that information what you will. Black women are the least married, but black men make the worst husbands. Let's face the truth. No matter who y'all get married to, y'all still are the leaders of divorce. Do with that information what you will.
This is a sick Negro.
What's up, y'all? It's Cali West, and I do thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling this. Okay. We got Kevin Hodges from Fakebook, aka Facebook. He says, statistics say otherwise. It's always been a problem. Now, yes, there is a rare exception because I'm living proof. I've came across some others, just not a lot. Okay. So basically, we're referring to the fact of not dating career women. Can you elaborate a little bit on that, my brother, Kevin Hodges? Please elaborate a little bit on that, my brother. Because I ain't gonna lie, I do got a couple of topics to type. I kind of do feel like they all kind of correlate. But yeah, we gotta get this party started. And I appreciate you, G. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, Kevin, you're more than welcome to come to the YouTube side of things, because that's actually how I make my money. You feel me? You're more than welcome to hit up on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Link right on my page, my brother. I need to start putting it on a Facebook link as well. You feel me? That's what I really want y'all. I really want y'all to come through on the YouTube side of things. But hey, either way, I appreciate the support. So yeah. So, all right. So what I'm going to play first is Bandman Kevo and what he has to say about, his dating preference, and what type of woman that he prefers to date. I played this a couple of times, but I decided to make a main event out of it. So we're gonna talk about it. Let's go.
Deal with a woman that had an actual career, like a nurse or a teacher, or it's always like you want a woman who's also living a fast life too, whether if she's a scammer or a booster or a stripper or whatever. I've never seen you with a girl with a career.
Why See, this is the thing. Like, as far as like, I look at opportunity. So if I meet somebody, I feel like you need to have either good credit. You got to have something kind of going on. Don't get me wrong. Nothing is wrong with a nurse. Nothing is wrong with a doctor type of female, but their attitudes don't be, like when I feel like that when I talk to people that was like nurses but it's a lot of finesse to that. She just say she a nurse, but bitch, you're really a CNA. You wipe ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like at hospitals, like you're not really a nurse, babe. Like, I applaud the ones that's really nurses, that's really, you know what I mean, getting that bag and being independent and getting it together. But it's a lot of cap. To be honest, Sean, they can actually go on Amazon and order a nurse outfit and finesse, right? And just tell me she a nurse and just wear a nurse outfit on Instagram every day. How will we know?
So you feel like women who work a career, or they have a career, they work a 9 to 5, an honest living. They don't really have that exotic lifestyle. You feel like their attitudes don't match the way you live.
I feel like I'm too advanced. Like as far as like the way I think, and it'll irritate me with small level thinking around me. When I'm trying to think big, bitch, you think it's small. It'll blow me. I'm talking about credit and she watching drama shit, or she watching Netflix shows and Tubi. Like it really blow me, folks, because I don't watch TV. I don't watch shows or movies and stuff like that. Let's watch some education shit. Let's watch Robert or Grant Cardone or some shit about building wealth. This bitch want to watch, love and hip hop, and I'm cool. You know what I mean? I don't want to come home and see that type of stuff. I don't like that.
Got to know exactly who you are. Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
Oh, okay. So basically his stance is, he probably wouldn't mind if a woman had a, real career, like she was a RN, a registered nurse. She actually went to school and, took the time and learned biology and stuff like that, or maybe even, Now, of course, I think what he's basically trying to say in a roundabout way is a lot of women who do have claim to be career women are capped. Think about it. Even especially, I hate to say, not that I hate to say this, but I must say it. Black women, for example, a lot of these women have propped up jobs, which is why, now that Trump is in office, he decided to, cut a lot of government jobs. And a lot of government jobs with a lot of social work and shit like this, and stuff that, was essentially in a roundabout way, welfare jobs. Now, yeah, you might say, oh, well, you have to have a degree to have these certain jobs, right? But it was still a welfare job for bullshit degrees. And the truth is that the cracks are starting to show. You feel me? The cracks are starting to show in a lot of these women's success. So, a lot of these women have put their careers or, their status, as ways of, basically eliminating certain men from dating them and essentially eliminating themselves. Now, of course, Bandman Kevo, back to him, he's basically saying that, a lot of these chicks be kind of lying about their career. They're not really career oriented. And then, some of these chicks, they're not really, they're very low vibrational. A lot of these chicks who claim that they're nurses, they're really just, CNAs, and, they don't really have, they really just trying to get to next week and, try to get to the club, and they're not really serious about life, and when they do have time, they have free time, they're not really trying to expand their mind. They're trying to watch, love and hip hop, low vibrational shit. So I could definitely kind of understand where he's coming from, because a lot of times there's a lot of chicks. Here's the thing: there's a lot of chicks who claim that they're educated, or not even claim that they're educated. They actually have a college degree. Some of these chicks might even went to university and stuff. But when you talk to them, you're not realizing that other than as far as whatever their career is concerned, they have nothing else to really talk about, other than some bullshit, really low vibrational energy. My boy 17th and 0 comes through. He says, if I was a person, man or woman from another race, and seen how we say terrible shit on both sides of social media all the time and never came in contact with us in real life, I would run away. And guess what? And that would be fine, and that would be fine, Hey, this conversation is not really for everybody, you dig? Now, but we're gonna, here's the thing. For anybody to, like, for example, I know that you tend to date sisters, 17th and 0. So I just really believe that if Black women and Black men want to resolve any situations or any type of dynamics that they may have, discussing those dynamics is very important. And Bandman Kevo, he's talking about how he doesn't want to date a career woman. And basically, and the truth is that there's a lot of good, there's a lot of negatives for dating a woman who's quote unquote educated. Now, he said, is this ninja a rapper? Yes, he is. You see them chains, hey, he ain't a stockbroker, but hey, just because you're a rapper, and just because you wear chains, just because you're hood, doesn't mean that he said, can't watch Grant Cardone or some stock trading stuff or something. Well, I don't think he said stocks, but something to invest and make money off of. He says, I'm willing to bet he talks to IG models and butt naked strippers and disappoints that he can't have deep depth conversation with them. Actually, he'll say the opposite. Let me play it again for y'all. Let me play it again for you. Just only because, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But I think he kind of made a point to basically suggest that he was not really necessarily doing that. And of course, hey, here's the thing. He might still talk to IG models and butt naked strippers as well. But, I don't think that's what he's referring to. As a matter of fact, it sounds as if he dated all types of girls and he has a certain woman in mind. He wants to date a woman who at least has who wants to be led and wants to, learn to be a boss, not just to be, just another worker. Let's play the video one more time. From my boy 17 and 0. And then he says, and I quote, I ain't saying that the conversation ain't needed, but I just made my earlier point still stands. I am even indefinitely. So I guess you're trying to say you're unbiased. Okay. But like I said, here's the thing. People could always act on whatever they want to act on. Now, here's the thing. Now, with that being said, I truly don't believe in really have to kind of like watch or mince my words, because at the same time, if anyone really cares about Black dynamics, especially like if they're like outside of our race, then they should actually wonder why. Or if they don't care, then they just don't care. But if they really care, then they will look into it, or at least pay attention to what's being said. You feel me? But we're gonna continue. We're gonna matriculate this ball. But I do want to play this video one more time.
I've never seen you deal with a woman that had an actual career, like a nurse or a teacher, or it's always like you want a woman who's also living a fast life too, whether if she's a scammer or a booster or a stripper or whatever. I've never seen you with a girl with a career. Why
See,
is that?
this is the thing. Like, as far as like, I look at opportunity. So if I meet somebody, I feel like you need to have either good credit. You got to have something kind of going on. Don't get me wrong. Nothing is wrong with a nurse. Nothing is wrong with a doctor type of female, but their attitudes don't be, like when I feel like that when I talk to people that was like nurses but it's a lot of finesse to that. She just say she a nurse, but bitch, you're really a CNA. You wipe ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like at hospitals, like you're not really a nurse, babe. Like, I applaud the ones that's really nurses, that's really, getting that bag and being independent and getting it together. But it's a lot of cap. To be honest, Sean, they can actually go on Amazon and order a nurse outfit and finesse, right? and just tell me she a nurse and just wear a nurse outfit on Instagram every day? How will we know?
You feel like women who work a career, or they have a career, they work a 9 to 5, an honest living. They don't really have that exotic lifestyle. You feel like their attitudes don't match the way you live.
I feel like I'm too advanced, like as far as like the way I think, and it irritate me with small level thinking around me. When I'm trying to think big, bitch, you think it's small. It'll blow me. I'm talking about credit and she watching shit, drama shit, or she watching Netflix shows and Tubi. Like it really blow me, folks, because I don't watch TV. I don't watch shows or movies and stuff like that.
And yo, I do want to actually say too, 17th and 0. You know, even though as a blue collar worker, I actually used to kind of do blue collar work really as a second job. But the truth is, I actually have a corporate job. You'd actually be surprised. And one thing I could definitely say is, you could date a chick in a corporate job, or you could date a chick who went to college. And guess what? When you come over to watch TV and you give her the remote, she might still turn on Love and Hip Hop or Real Housewives of Atlanta, bro. You know, it's not like you'd be so surprised. Like it sounds like you're talking about a stripper hoe, but nah, trust me, man. Look, a lot of these chicks be on that shit. I remember a chick at my job. She said she wanted to be a bad bitch. A chick at my job, young chick at my job. Of course, it's a sister, but just go figure. Just because you're in a corporate job doesn't mean that you have corporate, goals. Like, she just trying to, a matter of fact, before she got fired, before she quit, I think I was going to be her little sugar daddy. Well, I was working on it, that is. I ain't gonna lie. She had told me one time, she had told me at the job that, I look like a sugar daddy who gets some sugar. And I was like, huh?
I'd buy that for $1.
For real, I ain't gonna lie. She got some big ass titties and a cute ass baby face. She definitely would have got it.
It's really him. It's really him. You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
Not that I suggest that you should be sleeping with people at your job, but I'm a little bit more on the low end, and I have to be honest with you, I believe I could replace that job. Since at the same time, I don't live in fear in that, but still, if I was planning to go places, and only because she initiated it. Now, 17 says he ain't lying about them lying about their careers and being entrepreneurs, degrees for real estate, or being hospital professionals that I used to date that watch Love and Hip Hop, basketball wise. Facts, you feel me? Like I said, like I like to kind of play the videos a little bit that way everybody can get it, because I watched that video maybe about 5 or 6 times, to even catch all the nuance to it. As a matter of fact, we were actually debating about that last night. If you have a little time, 17, you should definitely check it out. That was actually a really good show last night. That show just Lee Peterson and talking to this educated sister. So this is almost kind of a piggyback of yesterday's episode. I guess tonight's a little too late for everybody to be watching, because I noticed when I'm looking at my analytics, not many people on watching live, but it's all good. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in, so I ain't gonna complain. I'm just saying. But y'all probably all drained out from watching all this damn football today. I don't watch football. You know what I'm saying? Y'all probably got to get ready for work tomorrow. So I get it. Y'all catch your boy on the replay, because we've got to discuss this shit. This shit is very important. And yeah, man, as far as people on the outside looking in, like outside of different races, I don't think, like, the truth be told, I don't think that's, here's the thing. Here's another thing I want to point out to you, 17th and 0. Maybe if you are a white person, You must be in South. You must be a white person from South Dakota, somewhere in Kennesaw or somewhere, where no one sees black people for you not to know any black people. You feel me? So I kind of feel like, I mean, I know you're probably speaking hypothetically, but in reality, you know, shit. Hey, at this point, bro, no disrespect to the sisters, but I think there's not a secret about how they are, bro. That's the irony in the conversation. You know, we could say, you know, their sisters could say, oh, you know, black men are bashing their own women, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. But yo, if you were to seriously ask other white people, yo, white people who are close to black people know this is true. They know how sisters could be. As a matter of fact, I know y'all don't like him. His name is Alex Jones. I know y'all say he's a racist and stuff like that, and I can't really count for everything that he says, but there's some, you know, a broken clock. With that being said, I do want to put out a disclaimer. A broken clock can be right at least twice a day. And he mentioned that when he was in the South, and he said that he mentioned that his dad, when his dad had to work, like even his dad and these white people, you know, even in the Jim Crow South, were still under the control and tutelage under a fat black woman who were managing them on like I forgot what type of farm he was on, but he said that for some reason these white people, these white people, right? You know, who we consider the racist white people, decided to put this one fat black woman in charge. So this is something that has even before the civil rights movement is something that has been in play and something that we have to discuss and address. And yes, you could kind of bring up, you know, you could bring up what's that word? You could bring up systematic racism and stuff like that, and how that could be a factor. You know, I'm just presenting, you know, what we have here. Now, something else is like George Bush says, I'm not a hater when it comes to he said, like George Bush said, I'm not a hater when it comes to Brandon Kevo, and he has a good point. Yeah, no doubt. Hey, we part of the righteous sphere. You feel me? We're a fellowship, bro. We're a fellowship. He said, nah, bro. There's knowing black people, a couple of professional guys at the job, and there's really knowing and being around black people for real. Well, you know what? It's funny you mention that because I actually said that. I ain't just talking about the white man who has, you know, a black friend or a black coworker or just that one black friend, you know, I'm saying in like South Park, you know, token black guy. There are a lot of white people who are around black people enough to know what time it is. Like, for example, I don't hang out with white people all the time, but I do have an idea of what goes on in white people's household because, you know, the fact that I lived in California practically all my child life and adult life, you know, I was able to be in other people's households and see how people operate and talk to other people and hear other people's experience. And I can honestly say that, you know, I know about other people's race because of the fact of where I came from. So yeah, so I am referring to people who actually know black people. Like for example, who else know about black people? There's a lot of people who, like for example, there's a lot of lawyers and I hate to say this, there are even some police officers who are aware of black people too. And yeah, you know, I might not be big on the police or liking the police and all that, but yo, some of these white police have been working in these black communities for like 10, 20 years, and they tend to see some certain aspects of black and white relationships or black and black relationships. And I'm talking about as domestic. So, you know, you'd be actually really, really, really surprised. Like, for example, I remember one time, if y'all don't mind me riffing, I remember one time I got into it with my ex. And long story short is the police that came to the house. She had called the cops. Long story short is, you know, I remember, you know, this is like way back in the day. I remember I was like, I know I'm the black man, so y'all can want to take me to jail. Yeah, I was one of those. You know what I'm saying? I was both Democrat and all that. You know, this is like 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. And I came out there like, oh, I know I'm black, so y'all gonna take me away, blah, 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 blah. And the guy was just like, yo. The white guy was like, yo, like, you ain't really even say all that, And guess what? They ended up taking her away. They didn't arrest her, but they ended up taking her back to her mama's house or her grandma's house or wherever the fuck she came from, you feel me? But what was ironic is, yo, man, there are white people who are as white as Davy Crockett. But that doesn't mean that they're not in touch with the community to some degree, man. Like, for example, at this point, it's just an observation. It's just an observation. And it says, you'll never have a rougher boss of measures than a woman of any race, especially a smaller woman, especially white women with the man troubles or that are reading Rainbow. Man, I don't know, bruh. You know what? You know what? I disagree with that. Look, for the record, I'm not saying that I haven't had any. Look, I've had maybe in my whole, look, and here's nothing to y'all. I done had plenty of jobs, bro. I'm a for real Jamaican. I probably done worked for every major company and everywhere you name it. Long story short is, I can honestly say that I probably had maybe one, maybe two good black female managers, like two black female managers who are really, really, really good at all that shit. Other than that, some of them were either aight or really, really terrible. And mainly because I feel like it was more of a power struggle, you know what I'm saying? And, a trip. I'm not saying that, black women are the only ones who make bad black bosses, but man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. When I have a black supervisor, bro, or a black boss, especially a black woman, black man, here's the thing. Black men are not always too great either. So, black men, here's the thing. Black men, at least black men is a crapshoot, but usually black women, man, usually it's gonna be all bad. And I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? See there, I talk about brothers and sisters right there. With that being said, here's an example of what I was talking about tonight. So remember I was talking about there's a businesswoman who this is her classmate for now she's going bankrupt. Well, anyway, I think Sukiyana and somebody else or some other rapper called this this real rich woman out. But long story short is, let me play the video so y'all can understand what's going on here. But this is making its rounds. It's gonna make its rounds. But this has been something that people are gonna talk about more and more and more and more. But I gotta talk about it. I have to make sure I talk about it. Where's it at? Because this chick, the way she did this, dude, and this is something that this is typical of, and look, this isn't, and y'all can be mad if y'all want. This is very indicative of sisters of how they act, because she was showing out on this man. Check this out.
How are you?
We're just in the same class as 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Watching marriage.
So I'm supposed to remember you? Okay, can I tell y'all that this man just said, do you remember me?
From 6th or 7th grade.
Make it make sense to me. He said we were in the same class in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Me, you, Naeem, and Sharice.
Okay.
He's being serious.
Yes,
though.
he
Are you
is.
serious? I do not. I'm sorry. No, I don't remember the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th grade.
We were in the same class.
Okay.
Me, you, and
Well,
Naeem.
it's nice to meet you.
Yes,
Hello. Okay. All right.
Okay. Now, was that all necessary? Was that even necessary? Because here's the thing. I have to be honest with you, y'all. I remember people, man, people still remember me. Yeah, I can go to Los Angeles right now. People still remember me. And I was like, how long ago? I ain't lived in Los Angeles in about a good long time now. But guess what? And I don't think I go back and I'm going to go back to visit every now and then. Not really often. But guess what? People still remember me. Shit, I had people stepping up to me on the MTA bus and stuff like that when I was like in high school and stuff like that and whatever, in college, man. Yo, a lot of people, here's the thing. I don't know about y'all, but most people keep their same face. Most people keep their face. Most people keep their face and then their name. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said, you know, I don't know if you, that's why he asked if you, I don't know if you remember me, but, you know, we went to school together or whatever, right? He's prompting it to maybe you feel in the space and maybe remember, maybe you will, maybe you don't. You know, and no big deal. No big deal. So with that being said, let's go on to, I'm going to play this video one more again and just show y'all.
Hello, how are you?
We were just in the same class in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Washington.
So I'm supposed to remember you. Okay, can I tell y'all that this man just said, do you remember me?
From 6th and 7th grade.
Make it make sense to me. He said we were in the same class in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Me, you, Naeem, and Sharice.
Okay.
He's being serious.
Yes,
though.
he
Are you
is.
serious? I do not. I'm sorry. No, I don't remember the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th grade.
We were in the same class.
Okay.
Me, you, and
Well,
Naeem.
it's nice to meet you. Yo. Hello. Okay.
Who are these niggas? I cried laughing when I read it. You know what I'm saying? like, we need to stay away from these niggas.
This is a sick Negro.
All right. So let's go to the next portion of this show. Oh, thanks. Former whiskey unicorn Uncle Nearest is struggling to survive after defaulting on $108 million in loans. What the fuck?
Emotional damage.
See? I mean, yo, if you're on top and you want to treat people like shit, you know, that's your prerogative, right? That's your prerogative. But just know, the same people who you shitting on when you go on your way up is the same people who's going to be looking at you on your fall down or on your way down, wherever how the fuck they phrase it. But yo, just like that, bro, like, just like that, your money could be that fucked up. But you know what's crazy? She knew she was defaulted on these goddamn loans. And guess what? And she was still acting like an ass.
I'm supposed to. Hello, how are you?
We were just in the same class in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Washington.
So I'm supposed to remember you. Okay, can I tell y'all that this man just said, do you remember me?
From 6th and 7th grade.
Make it make sense to me. He said we were in the same class in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Me, you, Naeem, and Sharice.
Okay.
He's being serious.
Yes,
though.
he
Are
is.
you serious? I do not. I'm sorry. No, I don't remember the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th grade.
We were in the same class.
Okay.
Me, you, and
Well,
Naeem.
it's nice to meet you. Yo. Hello. Okay. All right.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And a lot of people are coming after her about that. Trust me, this will not be the last time y'all hear about this situation. Now, 17th and L says, well, I don't know where you're at. Well, I'm in Miami, not from LA. Or what demographics were 20 to 25 years ago. The cops were always following me, pulling me over, and were trying to lock us up. Yo, I gotta be honest with you, my G. You know, I talk about my story. I can't really call it for everybody else. And by all means, I didn't say every cop was on the up and up. As a matter of fact, if you know anything about the whole legal system, it's really made to fuck you over. So, you know, just let you know, you know, you can be mad at the cops because guess what? I'll be mad at the cops too because they can choose to do the right thing. They don't have to go and do any bad things. But you might want to write your congressman, your senator, the mayor. Shit,
yeah, your mayor probably has more pull with why the police might be fucking with y'all than anybody else. But that's neither here nor there. What my point is, I was just putting that out for example. You might have racist cops. You might have evil black cops. You might have white black cops who's showing off for the white cops. That doesn't mean that there's not some police officers or just people. You're a product of your environment. If you're around people every day, you're gonna notice something. Like for example, you don't think bodega owners or those Koreans don't have a little bit of an understanding of our culture, a little bit. Not, and when I say our culture, not even so much our culture, but maybe even a certain demographic in our culture. That's undeniable. You telling me if a white person works at the Social Security office and their baby mama, and they always come in there and complain about their baby daddies, they're not gonna hear what they're saying. So that's what I'm saying. So getting fucked with the police, everybody can complain about that. We don't complain about here. We just know how it is. You feel me? But at the end of the day, getting pulled over and getting jacked up by the police, we could have a whole discussion about that. But that's neither here nor there. It was just a point I was bringing up. If you're in a certain community, let's just say, for example, you could be a gas station attendant, or you could be work at a hotel. You're gonna notice certain things about a certain demographic if that's your main catering of people. That's not anything, to get sensitive about. Simpson though says they got plenty of black women that act as donkeys in public, especially on black men that are calm and quiet. I would never deny that. And man, at this point, there's nothing to even deny, saying proof is in the pudding. Because my thing is we got a lot of issues and we treat each other worse sometimes, but we also have many interactions with black people without incident, but we never acknowledge or remember that. I'll say this much though, 17th and 0. Generally speaking, like for example, I think generally speaking, black women are, generally speaking, I think generally speaking, black people are okay. But when you start talking about specifics, right, and relationships and relationship dynamics, everything that we're talking about right here now is ever so present. Especially if you're a black man, you're a melanated man, you're dating melanated women. Everything that we're talking about is gonna say this is gonna play out in your relationships. You feel me? This is why this is to be discussed. This is why people are gonna watch the video. Because this is actually kind of plays in that dynamic of within melanated people. Right? He says, man, people are gonna shit on you if you are nice to them or an asshole. I'm this world if the opportunity presents itself. I don't know if I said that right, but he said, here's the thing. I learned that the cops harass people that they think are poor and can't afford legal representation to fight the charges. That's most of it as race-based. Facts. Or facts-based, even white. Oh, of course. Hey, yo, see? But see, you get it. That's what I'm saying. You get it. You feel me? You get it. You get it. Like, you get it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, for example, if you go to certain parts like Davie, Florida, that's like Broward in Broward County. And that's mostly white people. But guess what? Those are the white people who don't really like cotton because, be this. You usually are scared of the cops when you are disenfranchised because you're the main target. Be this. I hate to go to court. It's to the point that I pay the ticket clinic, and I shouldn't be promoting that, but I pay a lawyer to just do the court for me, man, from now on. And to be honest, I don't get many tickets often, and it's crazy because I got this ticket. I got a school ticket in the mail the other day too. But honestly, I might, instead of just paying a lawyer to it, they said that I get no points or nothing on my record and it won't affect my insurance. So I might just go ahead and just pay that shit off and just pay it off and just call it a day, man. Y'all don't want to be in court. Y'all do not want to be involved in the court as much as possible. If you can just pay the ticket off or pay a lawyer to make the ticket go away, just do it, man. Try to stay the fuck away the system because the systems are made to fuck you over. Because one little ticket, I could have just paid off and just no points, no nothing. Now I fucking decided I was gonna contest it because I was gonna do the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I really wanted to contest it. And guess what? The ticket down doubled now. You feel me? Now I have to go pay a lawyer to go do it. You feel me? And then, and if things don't go right, I might still have to pay the court costs. Go figure. I would have just paid and should have called it a goddamn day. Damn. But but the system is made like. But if you go to court, you notice that you don't see many rich people in court. And look, and truth is, they usually have truth is, they have a lawyer come in. Rich people or people with money, they have a lawyer come into court for them. And guess what? And even then, that lawyer might even be representing maybe 2 or 3 or 4 people. And then after he leaves, then they start going by the regular cases. They usually do the lawyer cases first because the lawyers are the lawyers, right? Hey. Now with that being said, let's go figure, bro. Like, yeah, it's built on on disenfranchised people. He said certain areas, white or transit areas, they just be giving everybody tickets, and the courthouse is always packed every day. Hey, going to court, and then lines take up the whole day. Facts. Well, no. Hey, it's true. It's true. Like, for example, one thing I could definitely say about being in white communities or even living in a white community is that you would think in a white community, here's the thing, you would think in a white community, right? I mean, I think within reason, right? You think just because you're going through, I don't know, Beverly Hills, or just because you're going through Ventura, Aventura in Miami, Florida, you would think that the police will pull you over more because you're black and you're in the neighborhood. I mean, I'm not saying that it does not happen, but guess what? You're probably more likely to get pulled over driving in the hood than you are in those neighborhoods. It's to the point that if I'm in like a white neighborhood or white prestigious neighborhood, what I just do is I just make sure I'm not riding dirty, right? Make sure my car ain't smelling like weed, you feel me? Don't be smoking a blunt through, you know what I'm saying? Beverly Hills type shit, you feel me? But make sure your license is good, you got insurance, like your registration's up to date. You will get pulled over actually less likely in a white community, a white prestigious white community. You know why? Because the cops and the city is more paid based off the taxes that these rich people are paying to live in these communities, versus in the hood where people are, most people who live there are on Section 8 and not really paying taxes. So guess what? They have more money to actually provide for the community. You feel me? So guess what? They literally could pay cops in white communities just to literally just be cops, just to watch for danger. No, wrong, you can't be speeding through the neighborhoods either, because they don't want people speeding through the white communities. They want it safe for their kids, right? But within means, white communities, you'd be so surprised. Their cops are less harassing than the cops in the hood. You might not agree with me or disagree with me in that, and that's okay. See, they build cities on tickets. I learned this from living in Texas. Everybody thinks it's cheap to live in Texas suburbs, where they hit you with so many fine tickets and that destroys your pockets. Oh, of course. Facts. Look, facts. Look, hell yeah. Of course. As a matter of fact, in Los Angeles is one of those cities. It's funny to mention that. Texas ain't one of them, only one. Los Angeles does that. Matter of fact, Los Angeles was one of the places I think that got ousted about it first. Like, about how these police have like a quota to basically pull your ass over and give you ass a motherfucking ticket. Yes. So there's another thing I do want to talk about tonight, which is when keeping it real goes wrong. Now, Christian Rock, okay, she catches herself, I guess, going to some Christmas parade thing in Compton. Now, I understand that, she kind of, I know she's kind of like hood affiliated and stuff like that, right? And I get that. But I would even think like, even as a hood figure, right? Even if I was like a big gangster, I'm kind of big time now, I ain't saying Christian Rock is an A-lister or anything like that. Uh-oh. Wait a damn minute. Okay. I thought I was frozen. But yeah. But I guess women just making bad choices. But check this out. I do want to share this. So I guess essentially, Christian Rock went to this little parade thing or whatever. Matter of fact, is there any visuals on it? Let's see if we have any visuals on this. Let's see here. It might even have some video on it. Oh, here we go.
Don't grab my phone from me. 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 I'm gonna let you snatch my phone like I'm some work ass bitch.
Now, yo, said Rock is a blood crip Yahweh angel. Oh, okay. Now, with that being said,
who are these niggas? I cried laughing when I read it. You know what I'm saying? like, we need to stay away from these niggas.
Now, of course, the reason why I brought that up is not so much that I care about Christian Rock, but like I said, see how keeping it real goes wrong? She want to show that she hood and all that, so she in Compton and stuff like that. Look, see this. I consider myself hood, and I done been to Compton and all that, but guess what? Man, look, I don't even have no money. I'm not even a star. I'm not fucking trying to go to that motherfucking Compton. Look, next time I go to LA, like those are places I avoid. I avoid leaving my own stop. Look, to some degree, I avoid certain parts of my old stomping ground in LA, bro. Like I remember one time I went back, and that was actually when I was living in LA. I think maybe I moved to like the Valley. I think I had a homeboy who like had a barbershop or something, and I remember one time I almost got into it with a cat. In the back of the barbershop. And mind you, after that, a lot of nefarious shit started going on after that. But I guess shit, there goes the neighborhood. But at the end of the day, Christian Rock, you would think at least you would have your own bodyguards in there. Like she essentially looked like she was out there solo because this dude, this gang member ninja, looked like he would want to take her back to the park. He was like, he just know that he just know that shit about to go crazy. So he's like, man, let me just take you to your car. You feel me? And of course, she ended up fighting with them hoes. As a matter of fact, she ended up getting jumped, but I'm not sure all that. Now, 17 Mil says, nah, bro, they wait on neutral ground and wait for you to leave your house and find any good reasons to give you a ticket knowing you can't keep taking off of work to miss days to fight tickets. Yo, 17 Mil, let me ask you a question, bro. Have you thought about, how about this 17 Mil? Have you thought about just moving, bro? Just move, bro.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yo, man. I mean, I don't know if you're in New Orleans or where you are in New Orleans. Maybe just move, bro. Because check this out. Like, for example, I remember I used to live in this place called Panorama City, okay? And one problem that I had over there, and mind you, anyone who knows Panorama City, Panorama is the ghetto, okay? It's not even the ghetto. It's La Barrio. It's El Barrio. You know what I'm saying? The hood, okay? In Spanish. It's where all the Mexicans live, all the poor Mexicans live in the valley, okay? I went up there because, the rent was inexpensive. I ain't gonna lie. The pad I had, it was actually a fat pad. It was in the hood, but it was a fat pad. I did have a 2-car parking space, that was in a gated area. And I had a nice little fat 1-bedroom. I ain't gonna lie, I was slaying hoes in that motherfucker. I had a good time in there. But, you know, with all good things, there's always a negative. Man, I had a Volkswagen at the thing at the time. I had a Volkswagen Jetta. The Volkswagen Jetta, I'm sorry. A stock Volkswagen Jetta. That must have been the most, I wouldn't say whitest, but that is like a yuppie car. Like, not too many black people was driving that car. Not too many poor people was driving that car. A Volkswagen at that time was a pretty decent car. It was, you know, next to new. But guess what? I found myself getting pulled over all the time in that neighborhood. And you know who was pulling me over? Latino cops. Okay? Shit, as a matter of fact, I got pulled over by a black cop and a white cop one time too. And she actually more than a couple times. With that being said, you know what my remedy to that situation was, my guy? I moved. Once I moved from that area and moved to, I think I moved back to Northridge or to Canyon Country, one of those places. Because I moved a couple times after that. I must have moved like 3 times in Northridge. I went back to moving to Northridge, and guess what? No, my ticket problem getting pulled over, my getting pulled over problem was done. You might just want to think about, bro, at this point in time, bro, we're at the age, bro, that we might just have to just relocate and just move when we're just not satisfied with the location anymore. You're not satisfied with a woman? Move. You're not satisfied with the cost of living? Move. You're not satisfied with the employment opportunities? Move. Especially if you have no kids. You know, if you have no kids, man, especially if you're a black man with no kids and you got and you have the know-how to make some money, and dude, you can always move, bro. And you don't have to move out of state or out of the country. You ain't got to do no major move. Just move out the area that you're at. Wherever they're waiting for you at. Move somewhere else better. Look, there's always trade-offs. Wherever you might have to move to might cost you more money. But guess what? What you pay in rent, you're going to not pay in tickets and court costs and taking off days of work. You dig? He says, damn, bro, somebody batted her. Oh, yeah. And look, and then she got jumped, actually. And she kind of handled them hoes, too. She, like, 3 bitches started fighting with her after that. Now, 17 No said, like, it was legal. Man, essentially it is. Now, 17 No says, I'm not having any problems today, but I moved away from those areas. But I'm telling you how it goes down. You ain't got to tell me how it goes down. Look, bro, 17 to No. You're probably not going to find anybody else in this space who is from the hood and know what time it is. You ain't got to tell me how it is. I know exactly how it is. What I'm telling you is how to, or not even telling you, because you obviously know. You know that I know that you know. So with that being said, since we both know, I'm letting the world know that they know how to deal with that bullshit. And guess what? And the truth is that we might not like the police. We might hate the police. That doesn't mean that there's not cops out there who know about the dynamics of Black culture or the dynamics for Black culture or whatever because of the fact that they have experience with Black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that I don't even know how we got to the point that we were even talking about how police give tickets because everybody knows that cops give tickets. Read this. White people know that cops give tickets. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Trust me. White boys know that cops give tickets all the way to the point that they make sure that they have radar detectors in their car and CB radios. Like, I mean, yeah, yeah. So he said not you in particular, but telling the world, Greg. Okay. All right. See, I stay where I'm at now, but I'm talking about how it goes. All right, yeah. So I think I got some other little clips I could probably just show. Matter of fact, I ain't a cat, bro. It's getting a little late. It's 12:19 here in Miami, and I have been on for about an hour. But I do want to show one clip that I do wanted to show just about why Black men may want to will tend to stay away from Black women with careers. Because I guess sometimes Black men, they kind of know that, even if they're successful, if the shoe's on the other foot, they can be disrespected. Now, for example, look how, Black women are supposed to, be the mothers of the community and like love, Black children, right? Remember, the children are our future. Let them laugh and let them lead the way. Remember that? I swear when they were singing, look, here's the thing. Can I be honest with y'all? I never liked that song. Well, I know why I never liked that song. It is going to sound kind of crazy, maybe far-fetched. And this is just my feelings. This is not even a fact. This is my feelings. I always kind of felt like that song wasn't really talking about Black men or Black boys. I always kind of felt like that song was kind of more toward when they said children. I kind of felt like that she was talking to Black women a little bit. I don't know. Like, even though I didn't understand it at the time, I think I always kind of felt that in my bones. Like this is not really I don't know, the greatest love of all. I don't know. I just kind of felt like there was a lot of propaganda behind that song. I don't know. I didn't really feel the love from the greatest love of all. Maybe because, you know what? Maybe because I think at a young age, I started noticing certain things about sisters, man. Things I couldn't even put my finger on. This is about how just, they tend to be very mean to Black men. Mean. Now, here's the thing. Now, if they like you, they want to fuck you, they'll treat you real. Look, here's the thing. Hey, if they really like you and want to have your baby, they will probably treat you in a different dynamic. But other than that, man, sisters tend to be a little mean. And I think even though I couldn't put my finger on it, I think I even knew that even from like grade school to like high school, bro. So, fast forward now as an adult, there's things that we have to address, things that we can't even discount or even dismiss. Now, there was something that I did show earlier in the show about the young man in court. Check this out.
I notice you don't have a father listed on the PSI. You did not have a father?
He's not in my life. He resided with his father for a short period of time, but the housing condition was deplorable. He was taken from the father at the court police, subsequently placed, and then returned to the biological mother.
That's what you have needed in your life as a father. Someone to discipline you. Someone to beat the hell out of you when you made a mistake, as opposed to allowing you or encouraging you to do it to somebody else. We've all been 19 years of age at some point in time in our lives. It might be different for a young lady, but for a young man, without the guidance of a father, being 19 years of age, I can understand how some of these problems have existed in the past.
That is no excuse, Judge. That is setting a low bar. There are plenty of young Black males who live in the city of Detroit, who are raised by a single mother, who do not, I repeat, do not engage in criminal activity. There are plenty of young Black males who did not have a father, who live in the city of Detroit, who do not come into court and lie to a judge. There are plenty of young Black males who live in the city of Detroit who do not behave the way this man behaves. And the fact that he did not have a father, the fact that he is a young Black male, does not give him the right to engage in criminal activity.
Who are these niggas? I cried laughing when I read it. You know what I'm saying? like, we need to stay away from these niggas.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't.
This is a sick Negro.
Now, yo, I must say, look at the vitriol in her voice. Oh, by the way, shout out to my boy, Monk Dan. You know what I'm saying? He actually motivated me to cover this again because he made a comment on my page to salute to my boy. You probably didn't get to catch my show tonight because we were both, getting our study on in the money mindset. Fucking with Coach Greg Adams on Patreon. Salute to the Free Agent Lifestyle. So I know he was on there with me. That's actually why I came on late night. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why my views is looking kind of little whack right now. Because, you know, it's late night, you know. It's late night over here. But yeah, man. But Monk Dan, he kind of said his statement was, he asked me, was she wrong about her statement? And, you know, I told him on a surface level, he's not necessarily wrong. Well, she's not necessarily wrong, but then she's not necessarily right either. Because if you look at the juvenile delinquency in the Detroit and these black men who are getting locked up in jail, mostly all these black men, and someone could do the statistics in Detroit. Someone could do the Detroit, if they're that vested into it, they could do the statistics in Detroit and the juveniles. But I bet you all those juvenile black men have no father. Look, I guarantee it. Now, with that being said, you know, this white judge, he even understands, even though he's from the George Bush side of town, he understands, and he probably seen, he has enough wisdom and seen other white kids who did not have a father, and they're acting the same way that this young man was acting. And you know what? This sister is not only discounting that, but she's not even recognizing the fact that she's talking to a judge.
He ain't lying.
Now, if she could talk, look how she was talking. Look how she was talking. Do you think, the way she was talking was, look, how can I verbalize this? Okay, all my life, you know, where I've had deal with, I have to be honest with you, I don't think I ever really dealt with Black American teachers until maybe like preschool or kindergarten. Because at one point in time, I did live in Jamaica. I was not born in Jamaica, but I did live in Jamaica for about like a year or two when I was like really, 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 really young. So I think when I finally got put into the culture, there are certain things I noticed. Like, for example, I'm not saying that, here's number two, Jamaican women are not necessarily nice either, as a disclaimer. I'm going to put that out there. But what I noticed that when I lived in Florida, the white teachers, and I tend to like the white teachers were a little nicer than the black ones. And guess what? And when black teachers were upset, or the black principal was upset, she would talk and speak in the same mannerism, same vitriol that this woman was talking to. But mind you, she wasn't even talking to the judge. These women were talking to the kids. And guess what? The way this woman would talk to her child is the way she's talking to a white judge who's on the bench. Look at this. Look at this.
Listed in the past.
That is no excuse, Judge. That is setting a low bar. There are plenty of young black males who live in the city of Detroit, who are raised by a single mother, who do not, I repeat, do not engage in criminal activity. There are plenty of young black males who did not have a father, who live in the city of Detroit, who do not come into court and lie to a judge. There are plenty of young black males who live in the city of Detroit who do not behave the way this man behaves. And the fact that he did not have a father, the fact that he is a young black male, does not give him the right to engage in criminal activity.
Nasty bitch.
So 17th and 0. We can complain about the police all we want. But though, when we got women like this who are our mothers, our aunts, and women that we date, we're literally sleeping with the fucking enemy, bro.
Emotional damage.
He ain't lying.
But once again, it is Cali West. I do thank you all for tuning in to another episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you're feeling this shit, I hope y'all Sunday, and I hope y'all have a good night. Peace.